Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. Final full throttle weekly options and debrief. It's weird sitting here on a Friday because we don't have any live trading sessions on Fridays, man. This is our final full throttle session in our industry leading full throttle live trading and training week. So we're going to knock out a quick session talking about weekly options. We're also going to debrief some of our trades for the week, and then we're going to close the doors, man, and we're going to get airborne with or without you, and hopefully with you. Hey, John, good afternoon. K3, welcome aboard. Folks, we're going to have it's going to be a quick session, really not too much super to cover. We had a massive week of trading here, and as I said, we usually, we do a little bit too much. Patrick, I am going to pop the Camus here in a little bit. I'm going to head down to the Boca Hotel and go for it on the beach and hit happy hour, man. It's a long week. It's a lot of, dealing with a couple thousand people in the chat box. And yep, Steve, it is Miller time. So here's the deal, folks, real quick. We're down. This was this morning when I checked in with Susie. In support, we have about 7 slots left. That's annual and monthly. I opened up the monthlies early on Wednesday night because it looks like folks were chomping at the bit to get airborne. So I don't know where we're at. Once we get 50 folks, we're done, and we're going to get airborne without you. Real quick, yesterday's replay is up on the replay page, so it's right here. We talked about closing that VXX trade from Monday for about a 53% profit. That's actually doing a hell of a lot better today. Is there any of my members still in this trade? It's up $1,800 right now. Yeah, that's awesome. Good. I listen to me. Today we're most likely going to get long volatility. As many of you know, as many of my members know, you can have dueling volatility trades on. What do I mean by that? You could be short volatility like we were on Monday. I said, hey man, we're going to whistle past the graveyard, and market's going to catch a bid this week, and vol's going to come in. And look what happened. Good. Amy, awesome. Amy's up $1,900 in that trade from Monday. So Amy's already a member, but Amy already paid for an annual full throttle defensive slot with this one volatility trade. So folks, if your audio in and out, can you guys hear me? Everybody can hear me, correct? Nobody else is complaining about the audio. I want to make sure everybody's got me. Nope, everybody's got me loud and clear. So my apologies. If you're having an audio issue, log out and log back in. It's usually on your end. I'm not hearing anybody complain about that. So, all right, thanks guys. I appreciate it. So this is a good looking trade on volatility, and I'd close it because I would not be short volatility going into a weekend. These weekends, folks, you have no idea what the hell is going to happen. President Trump tweeting, North Korea, China, Iran, something happens. You don't want to be short volatility going into a weekend, to be honest with you. So probably should have put that on as a weekly trade, but I didn't. So I would close that out if you didn't close it out already. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. It definitely is a long week. So let me put this in the chat box. Some of you, actually, when I looked at the registrations this morning, there's a couple hundred more people registered, because I think some of my strategic partners sent a couple emails out. So if you're sitting there going, what the hell's Top Gun Options? Sit here and over the weekend, grab a bottle of Camus and go through this page right here. This is this is worth its weight in gold. I've never, I'm not going to say that. I think back in the day we charged for a week of full throttle, and then I said, that's stupid. That's a high barrier to entry. Open up the doors, do a normal trading week with your members, and let the unwashed masses come in and check us out. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. So this actually, in the old days, we used to charge about $495 for a week of live trading. And I showed you some of those testimonials earlier in the week, folks, that people were like, hey, dude, are you mental? Like PJ, new to your stuff, and I think your marketing plan is genius. Not if I'm involved. No other service I know does this, where a person could put on enough trades during your free sessions to actually pay, or at least help pay for your service. Everyone else expects folks to fork over the cost up front in blind faith. Thanks, Wiz. So Arthur, seriously, and Arthur's, I think, Arthur, you're going to get a lifetime membership. I think you were talking to Susie this week. Seriously, Wiz, who shows trades before they're made? Who shows real trades issued that are profitable? You, Wiz, that's all. And that's just the plain truth. I appreciate that. And who shows trades that are losing? I showed you right now that we have an Amazon trade that's going down range. Actually, I think it's fine right now, but showed you one of those. It was underwater for a while there when Amazon, kind of had a sympathy implosion with some of the FANGs, and then had its earnings, and here we are back to life. So, the 1800 bull put spread that I showed you 2 days ago, that was quote losing money when Amazon was under 1795. Well, now it's up 30 points from where we talked about Amazon. So we show losing trades here too, guys. I have losing trades. We had an Amazon losing trade the first time the president grabbed his phone and started pounding on Jeff Bezos. So losing trades happen, guys, but thankfully more often than not, we do a pretty damn good job here at Top Gun Options. So I'm very, very happy with our performance and everything we do here. I got to be honest with you, if you haven't grabbed your membership yet, I don't know what else I can do. We're going to knock out this session. I'm going to take a look at maybe getting long volatility, and then that's it. We're going to get airborne. So you can click on these green buttons on the replay page that says, "Hey man, enlist in full throttle now," or you can just head to the replay page. As I said, we do have monthly memberships. It's go.topgunoptions.com/getft. That stands for Get Full Throttle. Let me put that in the chat box. And the monthlies aren't on this. This is one big image right here at the top of this page. Just click on that image, and that will take you to the monthly memberships. As I've joked about, 85, 95%, and Susie confirmed that, of our members who do month to month, in about 2, 3, 4 months, you give us a call and say, "Hey man, now I'm ready. I want to fleet up, so to speak, and get into an annual," because it does save money. Obviously, the annual memberships are cheaper. So, Larry, I'm going to let Larry speak for me. Let me do this. Larry. So Larry needs to be hired on my marketing team. Tell them I said you have your collectorship together and stop screwing around. Join up. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. All right, enough of this stuff. Can't stand the marketing. Let's just get airborne. Somebody, if the audio's on your end, man, I really can't reach into your computer there and help you out. All right, let's go. Real quick, folks, I gotta, this is making me, it's giving me agita here. Lynn, you say 93 based on a 70-30 win-loss. What income could I expect? 10K. Lynn, I can't tell you that, because when I say a 93% winning trade rate, that means a winning rate. We might get out of, a trade for, you saw me get out of VXX yesterday for about a 55% $1,000 gain. So ballparking a $10,000, I'm not in that business, Lynn, to ballpark stuff. That would be a little bit of high science to sit down and crunch kind of all those numbers based on, well, I closed this one at a 90% and this one at a 70. No, probably a little bit higher than that, just compared to Einhorn. Thankfully, we haven't had to issue one of those. 2-3 years ago was my worst year, and it was still just shy of triple-digit returns. But David Einhorn, man, some of these real, and who's the guy that shorted Herbalife? What the hell's that guy's name? Some of these dudes that have super mansions in the Hamptons are horrible. Thanks, man. Bill Ackman. Sorry. It is exactly, that's it, Ackman. So it's very not that I'm God's gift to training, but shorting Herbalife or so some of these calls that these guys make, it's just insane. And they send out apology letters that they're down. What was what's his name's apology letter the other day? It was down 15% year to date. I mean, that's just it's insane. So this it's whatever. You don't build yourself up by tearing people down. I've had shit shows. I mean, hell, one of my big black eyes, I think, what was it, last year? It was GE, trying to catch a falling knife on GE. I mean, I'm like, all right, it's GE. It's been on the Dow since the Dow was founded. And, the people that covered, the analysts that covered GE didn't even know that GE still had GE Capital on board. I mean, if I'm not an analyst for GE, and I didn't know that. I thought they had gotten rid of it. So GE was a black eye. What some of those other ones? So I've had my fair share of bad calls, but GE was probably the worst there. But then you get out of it. I mean, you move on. It's not like that one loss defines and makes you an absolute moron. It just and in the fall we said, enough with Facebook and Apple and Twitter and these limousine liberal stocks. Get in Amazon, man. Just put all those into Amazon. So anyway. Lynn, or your name already flew by there. It's first of all, I can't give investment advice. I don't want to give investment advice. An RIA, a registered investment advisor, they'll take you out to lunch. They'll make you pay for lunch, but they know your risk tolerance. They know all sorts of other stuff, and they can give you, looking at if your initial investment is 10 grand, what you could potentially see. I'm not in the business of doing that because I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to promise you the moon and then look like an idiot. So I can do that quite well on my own. Okay. So before we get strategic, operational, and then get tactical and look at some trades, this is just, I got to be honest with you. If a year and a half, whatever it's been, $20-25 million, and this is what we're getting. The trial started yesterday or the other day for Paul Manafort. The guy's been locked up in solitary confinement, by the way, which is just insane. So Hillary Clinton, her right-hand woman, whatever, who was married to a pedophile who was a congressman. I mean, just you can't make this stuff up. But the judge yesterday ripped the Mueller prosecutors apart. Their opening argument essentially is this dude wears expensive clothes, so he's got to be guilty of something. The judge ripped him apart. It reminded me of like the Colonel Nathan Jessup scene in A Few Good Men when he says, hey, I can't believe that these two young men's Marines, exactly, you can't handle the truth. It is, I hope they're not giving their lives to you and you're talking about my underwear. So this is just, I can't believe this stuff is happening, and but whatever. But there is no collusion. Donna, even Putin stood there. He's like, I got to be honest with you. When Donald Trump was over here in Russia years ago or whatever, when you guys are doing this whole dossier, he's like, we had 500 CEOs from around the world here. The dude just wasn't that big of a fish for me to care about him. It was funny. Paul, that's a good way to say it. So Lynn, listen to me. 10 people could have the same trade, 2 could lose, 5 could break even, and 1 could make a bundle, and 2 could make money. Hey, Paul, that's a great way to say it, man. If you don't mind, I'm going to grab that. So that's why when people say, hey, how much money could I make with this? First of all, people get out of trades or into trades, or Paul, very well said. People get into trades or out of trades. So Lynn, it just depends on your risk tolerance. We have members who every time something hits 50% profit, they close it. I've never met a trader in my entire life who lost money taking a profit at 50%. Some people squeeze. I know you're saying get out of this, but I'm going to squeeze every dollar out of this. I'm going to try and let it expire worthless. So there are those people there as well. So you have to, thank you. Larry and Karen both wrote these words down. SOP. You have to have your own standard operating procedure. Okay, so very long answer to your short question, but that's why it would be a long answer as well. All right, let's get strategic, guys. So Iran, that's awesome. Let me show you a couple of these, Lynn. So, and to be honest with you, Lynn, you have to paper trade, man. You cannot start trading options and just start putting real capital at risk and firing those missiles downrange. You have to go over to the simulator building. You have to take some losses, take some wins, figure out your own SOP. So, treat this seriously. And you'll do really well. As I said, one of the reasons I was successful building Top Gun options is because I treated it like combat. I treated it like me losing money was me getting shot down. And when I did that, it worked. So I know some of you guys have military experience, but a lot of you don't. But you can, if you can at least take 10% of that type of mentality, like, hey man, this is combat, and I'm going to do my intel, I'm going to listen to Wiz, I'm going to come up with my own SOP. I think we're pretty damn good. So Dan, I became more successful when I took the emotion out of it. That's a great way to put it. And Dan, that's why aviators can't be emotional. It's funny. How many of you, I'm going to grab that one, Dan. Hold on. With so many traders, does a trade move out of range before you get, if I work? Lynn, not really. I jokingly say, there has been a couple times when we've been in an illiquid name where we move the market. I mean, we move the market. But Lynn, I have to run over and place my trade. I use Trade Station or whatever this Options House for teaching because it's got some cool tools. I like the people at TradeStation. They're great people, but their options platform sucks, and that's being nice. But as a veteran, I get commission-free trading, and that don't suck. So, Lynn, I don't think there's enough movement in. I'd love to say we throw the market all over the place, but Lynn, it's a market. I mean, sometimes, and anecdotally, I'm going to say 50-50. 50% of the time, my fills are worse. 50% of the time, my fills are better than other folks. So. Larry, the trade plan document you should have gotten when you opted in, but it should be over here in handouts. So look over here in your handout there, guys. You see where it says handouts? You should have access to, Larry, you remember, you should have the big trade plan. Let me give you the big trade plan. All right, guys, here you go. In case you guys didn't get it, I just uploaded it again. So everybody, you should have 2 documents over in the handouts. Okay, take a look at that. Everybody give me a vertical thumb nod or vertical head nod. Hey guys, everybody take a look as you're looking at your handouts at what Rick just said. I've been paper trading with you since March and with options in general for almost 2 years. Like your F-18 flying, I still learn something new with almost every trade, but I'm about ready to fire live. So Lynn, please look at what Rick just said. This is a pretty cool statement. I appreciate that. Rick, I'm going to save that one. Rick Paper Trading. Rick PT Paper Trading. Thank you, Rick. Everybody read that, please. Okay, Jim got it. CP, exactly. So everybody, you should have access. So I loaded 2 documents in the handout box. You get the big ass trade plan, which is like 12 pages, and you also get the 1-page PDF. So, no, Kirk, I didn't mention an Apple trade this week. We talked about the earnings and stuff like that, but definitely not. All right, guys, let me press, and all good questions and stuff like that, but we got to get airborne. Like I said, we don't trade on Fridays usually, so it's it's time to get airborne. Every year, Iran has big military exercises in the Gulf. But, this is what I wanted to end on. Does everybody knows, you're old enough in this room, everybody know who Whitey Bulger is? Who was it? Johnny Depp did a movie. Was it Black Sunday or something like that? And then I love those, A&E specials or Mafia and stuff like that. Whitey Bulger was an absolute horrific murderer, a Irish mafia guy up in Boston. He was protected by the FBI. He was an informant by the FBI. He was protected. The Massachusetts State Police, the Boston State Police for years was like, why can't we get this guy? It's because the FBI was protecting him. And the Departed, exactly, Garen. You ready for this, folks? Does anybody know who the head of the Boston FBI was when Whitey Bulger was being protected? I'll give you one guess. Bob Mueller. Thank you, Jeff. Bob Mueller. So it makes me furious. First of all, I love when liberals say he was a former Marine, he's a hero. Folks, I served with people that were absolute idiots and borderline retarded. So just because you wore a uniform doesn't make you a hero or you're some sort of untouchable. I love it. Like, Trump can't say anything bad about Mueller. He was a Marine. And Bob Mueller ain't no Boy Scout, folks. So next time you get into you're at a cocktail party with a liberal getting in a little bit of a fight, point that out to him. He was, wasn't he also under, what's his name, the Waco? He's had some really bad, It's awful. Anyway, so Iran is got its military exercise in the Persian Gulf. One of the reasons I'm giving you a heads up about this, obviously they do it every year, is this year, for the first time, they are using hundreds of small boats. Now, if you've read my book, Subtle Plug, you know why I'm bringing this up. In my book, I talk about red team, like the red team process. A couple years ago, under Donald Rumsfeld, when he was SecDef, they had a big military, exercise, war game exercise, and they had this 3-star Marine general. God, I forget his name. It's in my book. This guy, you look at his picture and you want to choke yourself. He was the head of the bad guys, country orange or whatever. It was supposed to be Iran. And then, so the day the military exercises kicked off, within an hour, this guy had sank an aircraft carrier, one of ours, in the Persian Gulf, killing 5,000 sailors and Marines, destroyed a bunch of surf. Essentially, he won within an hour. You know what he did? When they said go, he had hundreds of boats in the Persian Gulf. Small, those dhows. I used to fly over those dhows at like 3 feet, small dhows and everything like that. And when he issued the order to attack, he didn't do it over the radio. He did it in the call to prayer. He did it in the call to prayer throughout Country Orange and used motorcycle carriers. So our Gucci electronic listening equipment, our jamming equipment, none of it worked. So on the go order, all these little boats turned towards our fleet and sank them, attacked them like the USS Cole. What happened? Donald Rumsfeld said, stop, knock it off, and refloated all the ships and said, you can't do that. Somebody just said, how did your book? Wow, that's a nice, subtle question. I can get you an autographed copy of my book. Why I'm bringing this up is because when I read this report that this is how they're doing this, I almost fell out of my chair, guys, is that this is detailed in my book. That this red team with Donald Rumsfeld, the Iranian, this guy, General, that's going to piss me off. I don't have a copy of my book handy. If you want an autographed copy of my book, yeah, it's on you can grab one right here. Was it $35, $25? You have to read about this, guys. This is why I'm bringing this up, and I'm not wasting time talking about this. You guys should be really, really, this is why I brief you on this stuff, man. This is scary. If you're standing there on the USS Abraham Lincoln flight deck looking at all these Iranian boats or dhows just kind of circling you, hanging out, waving, and all of a sudden they all turn towards you, there ain't enough weapons on board an aircraft carrier or even the small cruisers to take out hundreds of these things. So it creeped me the hell out reading about this naval exercise, man. It really, really, really did. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. We really saw a back and forth this week with the president and China. This is really getting interesting, and it is. Sir Francis Drake did sink the Spanish fleet that way, Kevin. History tends to. That's it, Karen. You get the gold star, Lieutenant General Van Ripper. Look at Karen going over and Googling shit while she's supposed to be paying attention. General Van Ripper, but she can multitask. That's the picture I use in my keynote. Look at that dude. That guy eats nails for breakfast. Oh, that's right. She's got 2 of my books. That's why Karen knows about this guy. Lieutenant General Van Ripper. That dude was in charge of the red team exercise. Where's his... There it is. Look at this. Van Ripper gained notoriety, that's what it was called, Millennium Challenge war game. He played the red team commander and easily sank a whole carrier battle group. Within the first 2 days, he sunk the entire battle group, folks. Holy shit, Rick. Well, that's what's funny, and this is what I write about in my book, is like, hey, the red team process is great, unless you don't listen to it. So, after this, hopefully the 5th Fleet over there is taking a look at all these people going, holy shit, man, this might be the way this starts. And if you know anything about the Navy, before the Persian Gulf War, if you had asked any admiral, would you ever send let alone an aircraft carrier, just a normal surface combatant into that lake, they would have laughed at you and called you nuts. at one point, during Persian Gulf, there was like 3 or 4 U.S. carriers, a French and a Brit. You could have walked across the Gulf. So anyway, all right, guys, we're having some serious back and forth with tariffs. The president Wednesday night before our training session said, "Hey, I think I'm going to hit you guys with 25%, 200 billion." Futures imploded. He said, "You know what? Give me a week on that one." We woke up Thursday and they said, "Screw you. Here comes 60 billion." Larry Kudlow today said what? Trump ain't going to back down from China's $60 billion weak response. Holy crap. Rob, Van Ripper pages on 123 and 124 in the book. Thanks, Rob. Actually, I did. My son just brought this up to me. Look at that. What a helper. So there's the book. So on pages 123 and 124, I actually talk about that. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, the Red Team in Action. It's a good read. Like I said, if you, I'll sign one for you if you just click on that link. This is. I told you, folks, this is going to get worse before it gets better. This is going to get a lot more serious before it gets better. I get that we're having this little bit of a, here's our M&M rally here. And there's our golden arches. And here's the whoop. Dude, I'd love for that to happen, guys. I'm feeling that. So we're going to get long volatility here in a couple minutes. We need a little bit of a trade, right? A trade that's a hedge. So, there's Shrek. Shrek's in there. That's exactly right. Shrek's like trade war, government shutdown, Iran killing us, blah blah blah. The VIX hit 1160. So this is where it's in this moment when vol is cheap, you buy it. When it's expensive, you sell it. We're about to buy some cheap vol. We're getting long vol. U.S. pressures China with punitive and trade defensive measures. Now let's get tactical. Everybody see what came out today? The non-farm payroll. Okay. The non-farm payroll, the numbers came out today. The actual numbers were this. Let's go to the tape. Everybody watch a football game last night? Good. Let's go with the non-farm payroll number. This actually was revised up. The previous month was revised up. We were looking for 191. It was a little soft. Unemployment rate, 4.0, 3.9 forecast, got 3.9. This is the only thing I said I care about or take a look at. Let's take a look at average. Yeah, president's making jobs. He had a good speech in Pennsylvania the other night. Average hourly earnings. The previous month was actually revised down a little bit, okay, to 0.1. But look at the jump. We wanted 0.3. We got 0.3. So, you know me, I've been fighting on Twitter most of the morning with liberals who, I swear to God, man, Donald Trump could announce right now that he is the Antichrist, and liberals would complain it's not hot enough in hell. Yeah, we're making more jobs, but people aren't making more money. Okay, for Christ's sake. Larry just ordered the book. Looking forward to reading it. Awesome, Larry. I'll sign it and I'll drop it in the mail on the way to cocktail hour. You'll get it in a couple days. So I get it that hiring cooled slightly, but look at us. We're starting to complain that wages are not growing super fast. Holy crap, man. Seriously, not that I'm super Richard Gere meditating. Start looking at some of the good, people, for the love of God and all things holy. Barack Hussein Obama would have given his kingdom of Kenya for a GDP print north of 3.5. And here we are bitching and moaning about this. Virginia, CNBC reporter just tweeted, tariffs with China in the last few days, more than number of calls in last month, zero engagement in last month, no resolution on anything. There you go, Virginia. Let's stop messing around and get long vol. We talked about treasuries this week. We talked about casino stocks getting hammered. Win, let's take a look at Win. Breaking a little bit of a ledge here. The 150. It's doing one of these, guys. It's doing these slow kind of descents. We're going to talk about Win more next week. The trade I want to cover today is volatility, and that's more important. But I just got off with Edmund off a coaching call. This would be nobody rings a bell at the bottom of a stock, and nobody rang a bell up here and said get out of Win. Okay, so if you're looking to get into the sin stocks, when they're getting hammered right now is when to get into it. And Obama wanted the U.S., the lower the GDP, the happier it was. I got to be honest with you, man. How many times? I really don't want to believe that, but I kind of believe that. But how about this, guys? What did I say the other day about shorts and Tesla? Tesla shorts stand their ground after taking a lot of losses. So what did I say about Tesla? I said, give me a couple days. Give me until next week. That's another reason you should sign up, is because we're going to have fun next week talking about Tesla. Short squeezes end. Anybody think it's going to do that? Then mortgage the house, sell the wife and the kids, and get bullish on Tesla. I don't think there's anybody in this room that believes that. This is a massive short squeeze running out of airspeed, and once this thing's going to get pounded into the dirt. Frank, what? You can sell your wife? Yeah, Frank, you haven't yet? Come on, man. What are you new? So this is a great article in a journal about, hey, man, the dude's bleeding money physically. He had to. Did everybody listen, or at least to the highlights of the earnings call? He had to apologize. He had to apologize for his last earnings call and not having enough sleep. He blamed being kind of a jerk on being sleepy and working 110 hours a week. Like I'm Gordon Gekko, folks. Like, I give a shit how many hours you worked last week, dude. Get your share price higher. So, Bambi, that's exactly right. I would look at that. Back to Win real quick. It's a good, that might be, here's the 50-day moving average. This is the, hey, all casino stocks stuck right now. If you think Vegas is going out of business, or Macau, or nobody's going to be smoking and slot jockeying in Vegas, then pound this into the dirt. I'd grab a little bit of popcorn. The 200-day moving average might not be, that probably would be the next step. And that's when institutional and large folks are going to get in and go, it's Vegas. Our next conference is in Vegas. Let's get into the casino stock. So not a bad idea. But Tesla, guys, that's a classic short squeeze. But when you see something like this, folks, if you're not doing this for a living, I call this a popcorn trade, man. Don't trade it. Eat some popcorn. And then once this thing turns, pound it into the dirt with a bearish double vertical. But be very, very, don't step in front of a steamroller with your cape on trying to pick up a couple dimes, getting short this thing. Tesla can remain irrational longer than you can stay solvent. Does that make sense? So let's, like I said, let's table that for next week. But a good article in the journal about how, look at the sub headline here. Electric car maker burned through less cash than investors expected. Investors expected what? Him to be hemorrhaging money. Well, he wasn't hemorrhaging with a sucking chest wound, Wiz. Only his femoral artery was cut. Okay. So, Kevin, quote for Tesla. Turns out there are no more shares for shorts to borrow. Kevin, I did not see that. That's good intel. A situation that could propel Tesla even higher as the weekends. Ooh. And Patrick, that's a great metric. Half their cash on hand is customer deposits. Wow. Okay. What else? Facebook. Nah. All right, let's get into. Oh, I thought this was pretty good. The Mirror. I was drinking my coffee this morning. You ready? Amazon now pays even less tax while struggling high street firms pay up to 20 times more. I love Jeff Bezos, man. The guy he's quiet as a church mouse. He knows that if he's a Charles Schultz, turn my Starbucks into a restroom and a needle exchange, or a Zuckerberg, or the dude's just, I'm telling you, man, Amazon's the Death Star. Even, what was it, a month or two ago, his net worth went through $150 billion, and workers in what countries were they? I forget what European countries were going on strike because they're working 10 hours. They don't get bathroom breaks. They're not even allowed. They can't even sit. I got to be honest with you, as Gordon Gekko, I think that's freaking phenomenal. God bless you. As an American, I think it's awful. I think it's disgusting. And I just think but guess what? I don't trade my flight suit. I trade my Gordon Gekko. So, and yeah, you got it, Steve. He's building his own FedEx, UPS. United States Postal Service out of Louisville, and he's gonna just. I can't say enough about Amazon. All right, guys, let's talk volatility because my brother, hey Shrek, I didn't answer your email, man. Shrek, a buddy of mine who I went through Top Gun with, he actually went through the tough Top Gun. I went through the stupid one for old adversary guys like me. He is going. Shrek just got a command of VMX1. Does everybody know what VMX1 is? It's based, and Shrek, God bless you, man, out in beautiful, luxurious Yuma, Arizona. This is the Marine Corps Test and Eval Squadron. Yep, you bet, Shrek. And you're getting a lot of accolades there in the chat box there. So Shrek's going to be the skipper of VMX1. What it is? This is a test and eval squadron. So the F-35, I press this button and it goes Wonder Woman, or I shoot this and it kills every Chinaman within a quadrillion mile radius. Shrek's going to be doing that shit, man. And Shrek's a member here at TGO. He was hanging out with the commandant for a while, and I guess he did a good enough job shining the skipper shoes to get promoted. A lot of oorahs in the chat box, man. Oh, that's awesome, dude. And what a bagger. Shrek is a bagger. I forgot about that. So not only is he going to be the skipper of VMX1, he gets to fly all the planes that they test, the F-35, the V-22 Osprey. So there you go. So there you go, Shrek. There's a shitload of comments in the chat box for you. Very, very well done. That's pretty cool. So Shrek, my long-haired hippie freaky son that just walked by, Matthew, who's Matthew, what are you, 2 weeks away from 13 days. My son Matthew is 13 days from a life-changing experience. So Matthew is good. Got it. So Matthew, I posted this picture on Facebook. This is my Throwback Thursday yesterday. Let me show you this. So Shrek, I think he's going to need a sea daddy because he doesn't know what he's in for. So this was my Facebook memory from yesterday, and then I swear we're going to get trading. But there's Matthew, and he's going to the beach right now. So that's him in VFA 201. When I was flying out of a Naval Air Station, Fort Worth. So that's my little man. He always had a jet in his hand when he was a kid, man. He could name Shrek. He'd walk into the squadron. He'd grab the sticks. He'd be like Su-27, MiG-29, F-5. And, there you go. So he's going to Norwich University in a couple weeks. He's going to be in the Corps of Cadets, and he wants to fly for the Marine Corps. So exactly, he's better than most Nuggets I train. So he's heading up to Norwich to try and be an officer of Marines. So it's good to know my brother Shrek is going to be the skipper of VMX1. By the time Shrek he's going to flight school, you better be the commandant, my friend. So all right. So good on you, Shrek. That's all. I just didn't get a chance to respond to your email, and that was the number one email I wanted to respond to. I didn't give a shit about all the other stuff. So Semper Fi, Shrek, and congrats. But Shrek, the reason I'm bringing him up is because he's sitting there going, frickin' trade war with China. Iran is literally taking page 123 and 124 of the book I wrote about that red team and doing what Lieutenant General Van Ripper did and sank a battle group. We're in the middle of a trade war with China. The FANGs, Facebook is not what we thought it was. Well, it's definitely what we thought it was. And the VIX, we broke 12. What's VXX at right now? Down. So let me get a quick roll call. How many of you are still in that AUG 10? This was out 2 weeks, right? This was out the next Friday. What the hell do we have on? The 33 and a half, we got at 13 cents. Sell the 33, buy the 33 and a half. It's at 3 cents. It's at 4 cents. What's 10 times 150? So this trade is up $1,500 right now, guys. Get out of it. Close it because we're going to get long. Do not be short vol going into the weekend, guys. We are below 12 on the VIX. Okay. I appreciate that, Rob. Yeah, no, well, it's funny because Matthew's walking around here, and I'm like, holy crap, Shrek just got skipper, and my son's going to go try and be a Marine, so it's a good hook. But look at this. I told you the guy that owned Peak 6, he said, hey, Wiz, whenever you say hear me say in options trading, say these words, this is nuts. I want you to stop whatever you're doing, sit up in your chair and stop mentally clubbing in the Bahamas and get the frick back here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is retarded. I'm not even going to say nuts. I'm going to say retarded. The VIX being down 5% right now is stupid cheap. Something is going to happen in the next week or two to freak this market out. How do you know that? Because every week that has happened. Little pop, little pop, little pop, bigger pop, little pop, big pop, nothing. Folks, and on these little pops, you can make money getting bullish on volatility. And guess what? Then it goes away. Look at this little. So what did we do? We sold on this little pop on Monday. What did we do? We sold volatility. We sold a bear call spread on VXX. You could make so Lynn, to your point, how much can I make off 10 grand? I can't tell you, but you could do a pretty decent living getting in and out of volatility. So we're going to have a blast. We've been, knock on wood, I don't think out of the past 6 VXX trades, I think we had one loser. The rest of them were pretty damn good. So I'm going to look at a bull put spread, but I'm going to be honest with you, man. I am 2 reallys. And if you don't know what that means, you're not a member yet. But if you are a member, you know what that's getting close to. I'm 2 reallys on volatility. I'm really, really bullish. If I get one more R, which I'm pretty damn close to, it is time for a bullish double vertical on volatility. Yeah, and I called Tamara the other day and she didn't answer. I'm going to call Tamara because our double vertical queen is missing in action. Shrek, you're reading my mind here, guys. So we could do a couple things with volatility, with it being this cheap right now. Just for the sake of shits and grins here, I'd like to look at a bull put spread for time, but Shrek brings up a great point. I would look at just maybe straight buying some damn VIX calls, folks. What would you look at? November's going to be an absolute nightmare with the elections, the Iranian sanctions, a lot of stuff. Volatility, I think, and when's the potential government shutdown? October 1st? I'd look in this range, guys, as Shrek's Shrek's in the back of my cockpit, man. He's my helmet bag. He's bringing up a good point, man. Maybe just be a straight call buyer of one of these. Let's just thread the needle. Maybe the September 19th. I'd go out a couple. If you're sitting here going, Wiz, I think you're smoking crack. You tried to scare the hell out of me with your strategic and operational brief. I ain't buying it. The world is great. Markets only go up. Then don't listen to me and stop wasting your time with this trade. If you're sitting there going, holy crap, man, volatility is incredibly cheap and something you've briefed me on or something you're not even briefing me on. That's what I try and do in these briefs, folks, is the Donald Rumsfeld. There are known knowns. There are known unknowns. But, folks, there are unknown unknowns. How many of you, I mean, three and a half years ago, Fish, the Greek debt crisis. You guys were driving into work, and all of a sudden you look at your phone and your Fidelity account's down 30%. You're like, what the Greek debt crisis? We woke up one day a year and a half, 2 years ago, and what happened? Vladimir Putin invaded Crimea. I knew that was happening. So did Shrek. So did a lot of people I know. So it's the unknown unknowns as well. Here's the funny part, guys. Does anybody, I look at this. I'm showing all the strikes on the VIX. It says all. I selected September. Does anybody see a 0.8 delta call? The lowest, the VIX, the SIBO, I used to work half a day each day in the SIBO. I worked in the CBOT, but you walked over to the SIBO. There isn't even an 80 delta call on here. The 10s. Folks, this is nuts. To steal my buddy's term, I'm going to say this is retarded, to steal this term, because I grew up in a time when you could still say that. This is stupid cheap, guys. So you could just be a straight buyer of some VIX calls. How much? I don't know. Let me click on them. and say 10 of these, folks, buying 10 of the September 19 VIX calls is about $4.70. So what do we spend? About $4,700. These, ladies and gentlemen, I would put in my filing cabinet and forget about them until, I mean, folks, if you bought these and breaking news Monday, North Korea fires ballistic missile over Japan, Christ, the VIX might be up at 15 or something like that. I'd get at, So, but when vol is this cheap and you can get it really cheap into some months where you think there's going to be some stupidity, do it now. Folks, I'm sitting here in God's waiting room, Boca Raton. When the hell do you think we buy hurricane insurance? In September when Hurricane Matthew hit last fall? No, that ain't going to happen. Or you can do it, and it's going to cost you more than your house would probably cost to do it on your own. So, folks, so we could do a couple things with volatility. We could buy some of these real cheap and just put them down there and know that, holy crap, man, the market really rolled over hard. Well, oh, wait a minute, the VIX spiked. I got those VIX calls on. Sweet. This is called, this would be a hedge, guys. Just being a straight buyer of these calls right now would be a hedge against the VIX going up. Okay, now let me cover, and I'm going to do it fast since I ran long just shooting the shit here. Let's cover a trade, which is a trade that's also serves as a hedge, right? A trade I want to make money on, man. I'm not happy and not proud of myself if I don't, and I debrief and say, why did I lose money on it? A hedge means, I don't care if I lost money on it because all my longs, my Jan, they should have gone up, not all of them. Like Win is getting a little kicked in the teeth. So here we go. Let's take a look. And so whoever said earlier, yeah, it looks like the VIX and the VXX are seeing some serious point. We haven't seen the VXX break 30 in a long time. Now, I said this several times this week. I'm going to repeat myself. I'm going to put a bull put spread on VXX. During the life of this trade, it can be red and losing money, meaning, Wiz, I can't believe it. We broke 30 on VXX. Peace, love, and understanding is broken out. Nothing bad can go wrong in this market. You're an idiot. Breaking news, Donald Trump launches missiles at China and the VIX is at 50. That shit can happen. I remember, what was it, a year and a half ago, Fish, 2 years ago, we were sitting in a VXX bull put spread on a Tuesday morning. We used to do the primary live trade brief Tuesday mornings at 9. And somebody asked me, like, hey, Wiz, our VXX bull put spread for Friday's down $2,000. What are you doing? I said, nothing. I'm like, did you hear from me? No. Then I'm not doing anything. I said, with my luck, we've had it on for 2 weeks, and it's what happened that Thursday afternoon? Does anybody? Everybody already wrote the answer who were there. Thursday afternoon, breaking news, New York Times, Jim Comey, through a friend, has leaked this information, and the president obstructed justice. He's going to be impeached. So that trade went from being down $2,000 to up $6,000, and we ended up net closing it for a $4,000 loss. So if you had closed that trade Tuesday morning, you would have lost $2,000. And then Thursday afternoon, breaking news, Jim Comey, who's also a piece of shit, you'd be kicking yourself. So here's the point of this little side ramble is we could break 30 on VXX. Peace, love, and understanding can break out. Jesus, Muhammad, Ganesh, and Buddha all come back to life on Sunday. Freaking awesome. Our longs are doing great. This trade loses money. I just don't. Would I love that to happen? Yes. Will it? No. So, 30, and actually yesterday, what did I talk about? Yesterday I said, hey, I'd close that VXX trade. Now I'd really close out that bear call spread from Monday. I said it's almost iron condor-ish, the way this thing channels. But anyway, let's go ahead. Let's go out. Let's actually, you know what? Let's stick with next Friday and see what the 30s look like. I don't have to have all my strikes up here now. What's the 30? Now, Wiz, that would be at the money. Yeah, it would be, man. But you're going to tell me, no, I'm talking to myself. Sell the 30, buy the 29.5. Stop. Sell the 30s. I would look at an at the money bull put spread here, man. I mean, this is stupid cheap, man. It's a little sportier. Maybe let's do a dollar wide. What's the 29? Okay, so oh my god, I love the look of this trade, guys. But this is so. If you just looked at this trade at the screen, if you just airdropped into your Top Gun options, where you've been all week, I haven't seen any of this crap. This is going to look freaky. Selling 100 of next Friday's 30 puts on VXX. I just explained why the 30s. And buying the 29s in case Jesus, Muhammad, Ganesh, and Buddha do come back to life and volatility goes to zero. Freaking yay, we're all going to be in nirvana and essential bliss. I'm not going to care about losing this money, but that's not going to happen. So if you look at this and go, you're risking 5 to make 5, wow, that's a good look. But look at the probabilities, guys. There's a 50% probability of max profit. There's a 60% of break even. This is pretty sporty, but it's sporty if you're looking at it like this and you didn't look at the chart and you didn't use what? The 7 inches of gray matter between your ears. Iran, China, the EU, Russia. I haven't talked about Vlad in a while. 2 weeks ago, people wanted to impeach Trump for a press conference with the guy. What else is out there? Northern Africa. You name it. So this one would be sporty. Let's go down $1 or 50 cent. 50 cent. And see what that one would do. Whoa, obviously I'd have to do half those contracts. Not 100. So this one might be a little bit more. Yeah, the metrics start going up a little bit. So if I'm going to do this one, guys, as a portfolio manager, obviously I can't be super swinging for the fences. I'm going to tell you that a dude that I know who wrote a book and runs a financial training firm most likely would do the other one. And I'll leave it at that. But this one is the one we're going to put in our portfolio because it's a little less sporty. Does everybody make sense with that? Oops, hold on. Those metrics got screwed up. The 29.5, 29. Oh, that's why that looked gooned up. So, but you get the sportier one, right? Does everybody know what I'm saying here? The sportier one would be selling the 30s. We've held 30 for a while on that. That would be the. I think we can do 165 here. Maybe now, you know what? I wanted to do well, that's what happened is there isn't a dollar wide. You see, VXX sometimes gets these strange. Well, I'm going to go half 50 cent here, and there's $1 in between these non-standard options. No, I'm not, guys. I don't want to go $1.50 wide. That ain't. There's no 28.5. Well. This is certainly an odd discussion because I certainly don't think I mean, where's 28.5, guys? I mean, that's down here. Have we ever seen 28.5 on VXX? No, that would be its lowest low ever. Oh, good. So you guys aren't seeing the 28. There is no 28.5. And I don't want to go out another week to play with this. I want to go out the next Friday. Something's going to happen next week, guys. Something's up. Something's got to give. So, good, John. That's a good looking trade. I don't mind that one. I don't disagree. This is a first. I can't remember doing like $1. It's not like it's creepy or anything like that, but you know what? Maybe I'm just going to go back to my original game plan. And you guys know if you want to go less creepy, so to speak, you can play around with that. Probably about 125. Let me try 125 of these. Now, let me just get back to the original damn trade that I had. You know what I'm getting at, though, folks, is this is right around 30. This is an at the money bull put spread. So this is a sport. This is what I'm going to. Is it Virginia? Okay, thanks for the heads up. I appreciate that. So here's all right, enough, because we got about 6 minutes left, and I want to take questions before we shut the doors here. I'm going to sell 100 of the AUG 10 next Friday, 30 puts. We beat this dead horse. You're wrong, Wiz. VX volatility can remain irrational longer. You can stay solvent. You better buy these damn hedges. I'm going to buy 100 of the AUG 10 29s. It's about a 51-cent credit. I'd go about, since it's moving around a little bit here, let's go about 2 cents wide, meaning I'd go up to 53 and I'd go as low as about 49 for today. Okay, so that's kind of the range I'd look to get filled in. All right, I'm bullish on volatility. I'm using puts, and it's a spread. Bull, put, spread. Okay, now we're going to talk about the 100 contracts here in a second here, and risk. And so VXX, what's today? 8.3. So soon as we click this analyze button, you all have learned this week to look there first. So Lynn, if you're still with us here, the 100 contracts means I'm risking $4,900. If you want to, out of your 10 grand model portfolio, you want to risk, $490, then you do what? 10 contracts. I can't tell you that. You're getting to eavesdrop on what I would do, right, in this training environment. So if everything goes, well, I'm not going to say goes to hell in a handbasket, because no, if everything goes great next week and there is no spike in volatility, the most we could lose is this. Okay. Now, sometime between now and then, all we need by next Friday, folks, is the VXX to stay above 30. But listen to me again. I said it 9 times. I'll say it 10. There is a distinct possibility this could dip below 30 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know. But I'm telling you, by next Friday, I believe something. Look at this week. I don't even remember what happened Monday, man, because these days it's insanity with what goes on from, a Sunday night Chinese market opens to us, sitting here. Something happened each day this week to freak the market the hell out or volatility to come in. So we're risking 4,900 to potentially make 5,100. And you can see the probabilities using the at the money volatility, right? That they're sitting right there. I think I already took my screenshot. VXX. 8.3, and here's the metrics. So I'm going to send this out here. I'm also going to send out you know what, guys, for the TGO members, I'll put this in the analyze your trade portfolio, since technically you know what? Let's not do that. This will be our weekly options. Let's do that, since I really didn't get a chance to spin around to that topic. Let's do that. Okay, oops, text first. Yeah, we'll do it. I'll throw it on over there. So weekly options, new, VXX, bull, put, spread. And we're going to be wrapping up here in a couple minutes, guys. And we're going to be getting airborne. If you didn't get your full throttle slot, we're going to be done today, man. I'm getting airborne with all our members tomorrow. Good group of folks, man. Very honored to have all y'all. And as friends, too. Buy 29 puts. 15 cent or 51 cent credit. I said about 2 cent wide is what I tried to get filled on. And remember, folks, if I'm wiping you off into the wall like NASCAR, you get 8 training sessions, man, once you become a member here. Okay. So, Sam, Wiz, so VXX bull put means the market will fall. Doesn't necessarily mean the market will fall. It means that something's going to happen to cause volatility to spike. Volatility can go up on good news too, Sam. What is the relationship between VXX and the market? Sam, are you a member? Because that's a good question. I'd maybe adjust this trade at about 80 cents and maybe eject around 102. Should be out of current VXX bear call spread SPRD. Or I'll just put out. How's that? There you go. Look at that. Saving. Not going to send you 2 texts. I hate getting a text and then like 3 words on the next text. So I try not to do that. All in one. John got filled at 49. My phone just buzzed, which means that's how quick it fires. Where's Graham? Graham, are you in here? Graham's down in Australia. These text alerts fire literally around the world. Weekly options, new, VXX, bull, put, spread. And this is awesome, guys. You dog fight volatility. You short it when it's high. You buy it when it's, you know, I mean, we not 100% win rate on any of these, but Anthony, what I don't know what that means. What about the Raytheon trade? What's your question about it, guys? We are at 2:00. We were going to go an hour. I'll try and stick around and answer a couple more questions. What's your question about the Raytheon trade? Sam, for VXX bull put to work, we need volatility, but if there's no volatility, we may lose. Not necessarily, Sam. Yes to half of that, no, and maybe with the rest of it. Sam, volatility can go up and the market up. Sam, have you heard me say this week? I've probably said it a couple times. Market up. Larry, I'm going to sign this book right now for you, by the way, and I'm going to run on when I'm heading out to the gym. I'm going to drop it in the mail for you. Yeah, I'll put the book link up there. If you want an autographed copy of my book, folks, I will. Here you go. Even if you don't become a member, you got to read about the Red Team, man, and Lieutenant General Van Ripper. So let me throw that in there. So Sam, to answer your question, a couple of years ago, here's a great example. In June of 2013, the market was having a rip your face off rally, and the VIX also went up. You know why it went up? Because it was the first Fed meeting when the market thought Ben Bernanke was going to taper. Remember, he was going to end the quantitative easing. So the market could go up next week and VIX go up. You've heard me say this a couple times, Sam, right? Market up, VIX up, something is up. So the market could rally next week, Sam, and the VIX actually, as a matter of fact, Sam, that might be a way we make money is look at this. Look at this shit show and then recovery. Look at that V. I'm telling you right now, on before my coaching call with Edmund, I was on a proprietary call, and people were getting long. The talk right now with the VIX, like Shrek said, like, there's nothing going on in the world. Don't mind all the stupid craziness going on right now. The VIX is down at 1160. So market up, VIX up, something is up. So that I get what you're 80% of the time, Sam, you'd be right. The 20% of the time is really where we make our money. Does that make sense? Rick, obviously Van Ripper wanted to win regardless of the rules. Well, Rick, here's the issue. Everything he did was within the rules. He just thought outside of the box, right? He didn't break any of the rules, Rick. Rumsfeld just got ape shit, and so did he was a Marine General, Shrek. Who was the or who was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs at the time? Under a guy with the dark hair, comb over. He refloated all of the ships. Rumsfeld's like, you can't do that. Van Ripper actually resigned, ladies and gentlemen. He actually quit. He's like, whoa. This was you have to take those losses. Nothing he did was against the rules, man. It's like, Captain Kirk and the Kobayashi Maru. So, there are no rules in a knife fight. That's exactly right, Rick. So that's exactly right, Craig. Do you think Iran cares about the rules? That's why I briefed you on this, folks. I was sitting here doing my intel gathering. I'm like, holy shit, man, this sounds like Van Ripper's Red Team. Hundreds and hundreds of boats. We are aware of the increase in Iranian naval operations with the Arabian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz. What does the United States Navy call? What did I call you? What did I tell you? Start calling it this, the Arabian Gulf. It's not the Persian Gulf. Iran calls it the Persian Gulf. So, all right, guys, I got to be honest with you. There's a lot of non-member folks asking still a ton of questions. We're done. I'm done. I got a trade here a little bit more. I'm going to go to the gym, going to go to the beach, going to go to the happy hour. If after 5 live training and trading sessions, you still got questions, or you don't know if you can be a member, I can't. I'm kind of out of airspeed. Actually, let me ask that poll. You ready? Here we go. Full throttle membership. Let me launch this one before I head out, because I'd love to know. So everybody take a look at that, because there's still about 400 or 500 people in here. Because I'm always dying to know if after a week, because like I said earlier, most companies either charge you for this full week, or they only do 1 or 2 sessions, and the first session is like all marketing, and trust me. All right. Well, for the folks, I'll show you the results in a couple. You got 30 more seconds to vote. I'll show you the results. But for those of you that are clicking on the What's TGO, you need to watch all the replays on this page. Okay. HH. That's a good headline, man. There is zero engagement between the U.S. and China as trade tensions escalate. Whoops. Wow. Martin, there was a program report several years ago talking about the littorals and warfare. I'm telling you, Martin, this is, ladies and gentlemen, the Persian Gulf, the Arabian Gulf, it's not going to get better. Oh, that's right. That's what happened this week too. Was what the president said, hey, I'll meet with the head of the leader of Iran. I think he gave Obama shit about doing that, and that's a little hypocritical. And guys, I ain't no Republican. I'm a libertarian. I'll give Trump. I was furious that he did that. I was furious that he let those potential U.S. servicemen's remains come home under the United Nations flag. I get they landed in Hawaii under U.S. flag, but still. Anyway, all right. Let me close this poll. Only 22 guys. Only 20. Let me show you what I see when people are voting. This is what I see. It says 23% of you have voted. What are the other 70 whatever percent of you guys doing? Are you guys here? I don't understand that. But anyway, let me close this poll because I want to get going. Let me share the results here. So 13% joined annual, 38 did monthly, but we'll probably update. 38 want to join the next full throttle, and 11% what's TGO. So to the folks who want to join the next full throttle, I think we might do it in September or no, it's August, man. It'll probably be October or November. So I appreciate you being honest and saying, hey man, I'm not on board this time, but I will be the next time. What's the order link? Lynn, you got it, man. Let me give you that. Here we go, folks. Here's where you need to go. It's time to get airborne. I've been dragging you all week to drink some water. Now it's time for you to drink. Okay, and if not, we'll see you in October-ish. I think is when our next full throttle is going to be in the fall. We don't do these all the time, man. We do it when we have room. Because I told you I can't. It's an awful feeling as an instructor having 90,000 people in here and not being able to answer everybody's questions. It sucks. It gives me agita. So, Frank, I watched in May and joined now this time. Awesome, Frank. There you go. So if you needed, Lynn, here's the. If you just click on this image, Lynn, on the middle of the page, it shows you all the different options. We do have month-to-month memberships now, guys. Shane, very happy to be a member as of last month. Love it. Have a great weekend. You too, Shane. Awesome. Good. So here's the link to get airborne. It's go.topgunoptions.com/getft. Somebody just asked about the trade plan. Yeah, I loaded that over there on the right side in your control panel if you need the trade plan. Oh, real quick before I leave, if you are a new member, do me a favor and go to the website. There's a getting started video. You see it right here? Let me use my little red. I don't know if I can do that. No, I can't. Underneath member content, go over to getting started. It's like a 20-minute brief that I give you about the website and all sorts of stuff. So instead of like airdropping you in Afghanistan and all right, Wiz, what the hell do I do? Click on this getting started video and watch that, okay? And that'll hook you up. So, all right, folks. I think that's about it. The last thing I'm going to say is if you're not getting my daily video, which is called the Sit Rep. That's free. And so like Frank and some of these folks, hey, I watched your last full throttle but joined on this one. They at least get the daily sit rep. So make sure you click on this link. And this is my free daily market video that I do, 10, 13 minutes, 9 minutes, however long it is to, and that's free access. If you just name an email, you'll get this pushed to you whenever I shoot it. I shoot it, I don't know, sometimes at the open, sometimes at lunch, or sometimes after market closes. It just depends on what's going on. So this is some good intel. So if you're not ready to get airborne with a full throttle membership today, at least keep your feet warm by getting our daily video and my intel brief. Sound like a plan? So you're welcome, Tony. I appreciate that. Reg, yep, I know you've been here for a while. Awesome. Virginia, thanks. Long-time options trader, and I have interest in your strategic analysis, but do not need options education. We'll revisit. You got it, Virginia. Yeah, a lot of people don't don't need the 8 training sessions, but Virginia, I'd strongly recommend you at least attend those. As I said, people that have been here for years pick up something new in each one of those. So, Virginia, as Shrek can tell you, you can go back to Top Gun every once in a while for a refresher course. So even though you think you're good, it doesn't hurt to come back and maybe get a refresher. Okay, so. Tom, it is 8 sessions over 4 weeks. We usually do like Tuesday and Thursday night from 7 to, I don't know, 8:30, 9 o'clock or something like that. And that's the other thing you should do, folks. When you join, go watch the last Full Throttle sessions. So underneath member content, we just wrapped up last month. I think last month, a recent Full Throttle group, a new group of 50 folks. So this content on here is pretty damn good. So you need to watch this stuff. So we're not going to do live training. We'll probably do it after my son goes to Norwich, because for the next couple of weeks, we'll do all our normal stuff. But I'm not going to. I want to spend some time with him. So all this stuff existing on this page, we just did recently. So all these training sessions are really good stuff. Iron condors, long call diagonals, all that stuff. So in addition to watching the Getting Started video, start watching the older training sessions, okay? Jim, thanks for the Full Throttle week. Learned a lot. You got it, man. Thanks, Patrick. All right, guys, that's it, man. I'm done. We're out of here. If you didn't join, I'll see you daily on the sit rep if you're so inclined to get our video. If you did join, welcome aboard. I'll see you Monday afternoon at 1 o'clock for the weekly options live trade brief. And if you didn't do any of that stuff and you're going to think about joining us in the fall, I look forward to seeing you in the fall. So you're welcome, folks. Thank you for all the kind comments. I really do appreciate it. And for the folks that wanted to grab a book, I saw a couple people buying the book as it flew by. I'll literally sign that now, and I'll drop them if I can get to the post office before it closes. You bet, Tim. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. Edward Matthew Buckley, call sign Wiz, signing off for Full Throttle, and welcome aboard to all our new members. We'll see you guys. Have a great weekend. God bless.